Yeah, so how the operation is going to run, that's the question. So let's say we are around the clock first of all, and we are with the full focus on this strategy, and we are implementing whatever we can uh, uh, on the other analysis as well. So that way the trader, so let's say at this moment the trader is going to, the morning trader is going to continue, is probably going to start at 6 a.m. Indian time, and he will see this Ethereum breaking down at 4 minutes, in 4 minutes, and if it closes below the support, so he might propose this earlier, and which only validates after this bar closes uh, in the 4 minutes, or if he gets an approval before that 4 minutes, we trade on the approval as well. So let's say we propose this trade at an entry of 2050 2950, and the stop loss would be somewhere around 29 35 or something, so $15 risk, and the target would be $3050 risk. So that's a 3 to 1 trade, and if the if the if you or if you want to take that trade, you make that call, because the fisher is obviously bullish, and you ask for different things. You will all obviously get all that from the booklet we have on the Excel trade matrix, that is. It's breaking down on RSI, breaking down on MACD. So all these things are working against us. It's volume based. If we look at the 1 hour, so CCI is coming down. On balance volume is coming down sharply. So there was a somewhat somewhat bearish divergence on this bar in the early morning part, and then ROC is also coming down. So everything is working against the trade, except for the RS, sorry, super trend, and Fisher, and the volume even is pretty strongly bearish. So those things we have to consider, but it's still not breaking down, it's confirming, and it might be a trade. And then if you want to make that call that you want to proceed with this trade, we trade and we wait. Either hit the SL, or hit the target, or we in between somewhere around. Let's say we are around 2980, and we should see some analyst sees some uncertainty in price. He uh, asks for your advice, and ask to, like, you authorize to take the TP. They close the trade and take the TP. But if they don't get the authorization from you, they are going to continue that trade until the TP or the SL. And if any discretionary decision is made by the analyst, they need to be backed up and by solid data, and they need to be reporting that as soon as they can. So that this is something, the 1 hour, they're looking at 1 hour also, they're looking at 4 hour also. uh, the 4 hour is obviously pointing to the same 2890 level today, and yeah, if we want to trade that, it's a different trade, it's a different monitoring. So these two strategies don't have anything to do with one another, and they can run concurrently. The 4 hour and the 1 hour can run concurrently, even the daily, and daily can run along with that. uh, so let's say, who would be responsible for the daily closes? So daily closes in 17 hours, which is around 5 a.m., 4 a.m. in Indian time, 4:30 Indian time. Sorry, 5:30 Indian time, and whoever at that desk. So it would be the night trader who would be at that desk. Would see that closing price, or see that momentum carrying in, and uh, for something like this, and they will like recommend that trade to the team. If you are not available, they could make a discretionary call to enter at a smaller, sorry, uh, leverage on smaller size of trade and keep that trade until they can get confirmation and maybe possibly add more later at cost or lower if you want, if you authorize that. So that's how we can run this test. That's a system. If you agree with it, we can proceed. uh, Also, yeah, things like this pullback to 2720, it happened, I think, midday on Saturday the 17th. If we look at a shorter time frame chart, uh, this happened here at midday. So from a daily point of view, that was a pullback, but from a 4 hour point of view, that created a very good trade, which the trader at the desk would have been monitoring. So if we would want to have a mm, like like very rigid discussion about this trade previously, before this war even closes, and then proceed with our idea about it. And if it closes, let's say it closed at 27.55, that's a pretty legitimate buying area with a risk premium of around $30 or $26. And yeah, for a 4 hour trade, $26 is less than 1%, is very fine. If we would have actually had a better, like bigger stop loss in this trade, even like in this range of 26.90 or something. So that way it's going to work. It's going to be very fluid in terms of operation, and it's going to be uh, monitored like really carefully. So I think it did break through. Sorry. So it didn't break through. This bar is breaking through the current bar, which creates some sort of a complication. Really, it might continue. We will have to see what happens next, and we'll have to keep monitoring it. Things like this is just as an example. So concurrently, we can run the 4 hour weekly, daily 4 hour fisher, and one hour for super trend fisher. None of them have anything to do with the other. They don't necessarily have to influence one another. They don't need to have to correlate to one another. We can have a short position on the same currency, same coin, that we have a long position in the daily, because it ultimately doesn't matter in the time frame that the daily is looking, what is happening in the time frame the hourly is looking. So that's something we have to get ahead of, or get past of. uh, but yeah, that's the operation. And operational structure wise, we'll have to monitor obviously some sort of data, like the liquidation heat map. It needs to be monitored. The order book needs to be monitored uh, carefully. The different metrics that are mentioned in different parts. So on-chain data, we don't necessarily have a very premium freely available premium data. So for that, we'd have to make some sort of arrangement. But yeah, yeah, these free data that are available. So long liquidation being more means longs are getting were getting liquidated yesterday, and yeah, things like that. We have to monitor open interest falling or rising uh, based on different things. And volume obviously is a big indicator. Volume has been pretty high up. So these things need to be monitored. All the things we talked about previously also. And apart from that, the general market news and general market dynamics also have to be monitored very carefully uh, when with the team, and they need to be shared in a format. I'll prepare a format for that as well. So how the importance of the news, the mm, the gist of the news, and something like that, very three sentence or four sentence summary. And so these are the metrics I think that would help us also for performance monitoring or task management. If we have someone working on different stuff for like this is something I found that is is not I- uh, very not too bad. So they let you manage uh, tasks and like provide timings and approve things like that, as you can see. So these sort of systems we can use. It is also integrated with Slack, so it can go to directly Slack and like help us manage the team a lot better, especially the operational parts and the performance monitoring part. So the more important things need to be addressed are on the operational side and the team side, not particularly in the side of the system. So trading system wise, I think we are pretty much doing covering our bases with different time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour daily. So either one of them would catch something like, for example, this whole BTC move was not really captured on the 1 hour. By the time it broke above, we were out of the trade. But if we look at the 4 hour, it's caught pretty well. It went below, it checked back up, and it went like to 500 and from 51. So that's a $1,400 move on the upside, even if we trade it from the super trend support. So that way we can trade in different assets as well. So currently a lot of things are breaking down. So uh, this this broke down yesterday. Dot not we didn't discuss about it at all. uh, it's currently down. Solana, it didn't work. uh, the ADA is currently, sorry, ADA is positive. So let's look at something 1 hour. So the 1 hour strategy, MRTG is breaking down. Bitcoin obviously is also trying to break down. Ethereum breaking down. Solana broke down, was like right at that resistance on the 1 hour super trend. So that's a trade to be given on the opposite direction. Even if we had a long trade, that's a trade that that should have been, that also could have been given. So let's say we were long Solana from these areas, right? So from these areas we were long. Sorry, no, we were long in these areas, I think. Yes. So we were long in these areas and we got out at 110.5 or something. We got out here, but it came back down and then pushed back up this morning, and it's confirming. So if we had it, like trader, sorry, analyst at the desk, they would give us this trade and something to discuss about. Yeah, ADA is breaking down, Link is breaking down. So these are all legitimate trades that need to be provided if we are following top 10 cryptos. Like OP, this is breaking down. This has a huge market cap, I think. Yeah. Uh, if we look at the screener, let's look at the screener. Crypto pairs, market cap, market capitalization, and exchange, finance. So OP is not necessarily in the top 10, but yeah, it's a 3.5 billion market cap. Yeah, so something to think about as well. Anyway, all these things are really interesting things, and we need to improve the setup and hold the traders analysts to a higher standard, and really track that, give time to that management part, So these things could somewhat be also delegated to the admin, because he'll not have much to deal with in other times. So he would be able to push on the analyst side and see how they are performing as well. So these things, yeah, can be done on a collaborative manner as well.